And what's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Orange and Blue. I'm Ryan Evan, joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Ducey. What's up, Kev? What's up?
What is up, my brother? We're coming off a week, first time all season, lost 2 games in a row, and I couldn't be more positive.
Hey, be careful saying that around here.
I don't care. I'll carry the water, dude, because when we're sitting in the Sweet 16 in a little over a month, people will be like, well, that dude said it. Just like after Game 4 of the 2016 World Series, I said, y'all going to be laughing when we win this thing in 7. No, there's just something about this team that I feel that there's little pieces that are clicking, and I know that. All right, let's look at earlier in the week. Penn State mollywops us, and kudos to them. They lost 4 in a row, and they caught some shots early that went down for them. They got very confident, and Pickett played the game of his life. I mean, the guy is a 34% three-point shooter, shoots less than 4 a game, went 5 of 9 for us, and 2 of those were heat checks that he missed. So it was really like 5 of 7 in the game flow, which is, first of all, it's twice the amount of threes he shoots. It's like more than twice his percentage he makes. You know, you just tip your hat when a guy catches fire like that. And of those threes, I mean, he was hitting step backs with Dane in his face, step backs with Coleman in his face. I mean, you have one wide open one where we got a miscommunication between Rodgers and Epps and freshman. That's going to happen. And Lundy's hitting threes off curls, and it just happens. This is a good defensive team. You saw it Saturday. This is a good defensive team. They played Indiana really well. I mean, TJD is going to get his, but nobody else really did. Everybody else on their team, with the exception of maybe Miller Kopp, who caught some nice rhythm threes. But we've been really good at running guys off the 3-point line all year. So we go into Indiana. It's the second toughest place to. I'm sorry, I'm just jumping right in this because I've had this pin up. We're going to Indiana. It's the second Assembly Hall right now. In my argument, would be the second toughest place to play in the Big Ten. Some people might say Evanston. Okay, they beat Iowa by 29. I still say it's Indiana because the talent of the team and the difference maker in that the 2 best players in the league are Zach Edey and TJD. Purdue's the toughest place to play in the league. I'd say Bloomington's the second. You go in there without your best player and you lead the game for 26 minutes of game action. And a game you probably really should have won. There's some things that didn't go your way. There's a bullshit fucking technical. And I'm sorry. Yeah.
I got to be honest, Kevin, you can continue on, but I feel like this does happen often. But, man, Illinois really gets it bad, man. Like it's always momentum killing crap. Like if it's not RJ and against Houston, then you got this crap. And then what was it against Trent when he's saying cash because he hit a 3? It's just.
And Courtney Pfeiffer called both those against Trent and against Coleman. Hakeem Hart poked on a guy in Nebraska in overtime today and got all up in his face and flexed on him.
And it was, I totally agree with you on that.
And BTN put it on their Twitter page and then took it down. I wonder why. I mean, when you lose a game by 3 points, it's a 2-point game with 16 seconds to go and Jaden Epps at the free throw line. I mean, those 2 free throws that I think it was Hood-Schifino. No, it was Tamir Bates. That hurts, man. That hurts. I mean, and again, I'm not going to cry about. I thought the officiating, other than that call, was really pretty solid. I thought we got away with some stuff on TJD. I thought that they missed the call on Sincere Harris, which was pretty blatant. But I mean, the officials missed calls. That's going to happen. I don't think it was a really blatant. And also, there was so few fouls called in the first half. I thought that was pretty nice. But I think they missed a push in the back where TJD got the layup at the end of the half. That's 2 points at the end of the half. There was a 3 that Keegan Murray hit. Keegan?
Chris Murray.
I mess him. I do that all the time. Chris Murray hit at the end of the half in Iowa, and those 2 field goals are basically the difference in the game. We've got to do a better job of that. But I watched the game for 40 minutes and felt like Illinois was the better team. Illinois got more contributions, had more guys in double figures. I just felt like I felt like we played better. We still need to hit some shots. We still miss some shots. But you go into Bloomington, and we haven't even talked about this part, is we were without Terrence Shannon. And by all metrics, he is our best player this season. He's our leading scorer. He's second, I think, on the team in assists. He's one of the better defenders that we have on the team. I would love to. I mean, Ty Rodgers fouls, at the end of the game. Maybe that's Ty Rodgers on him. And I know people are mad that RJ was the guy shooting the shot there. If Terrence Shannon's in the game, it changes Indiana's defense or who they knew it was going to be Meyer, and Meyer did the exact right thing to pass to RJ. And RJ shot. I mean, that was one of RJ's best looking strokes in a while. Terrence Shannon's probably in the game at that point in time. Terrence Shannon's probably initiating that to Meyer. It's a very big difference there. So I think what I saw from the team is that's our toughest game on the schedule until we go to Purdue. And you've got 3 winnable games this week. Starts with Minnesota tomorrow, where I hope Brad's liberal with the lineups just because of how quick we're playing. Then we get Thursday, we get Northwestern at home, and then you get Michigan. Then you go to Ohio State, who looks terrible right now. And then you get Michigan at home. And Michigan's actually been a little bit salty on the road. They've got wins in Bloomington and in Evanston, which are both looking like pretty good wins. It's still a very weird team, a lot of talent. But I'm bullish on this team, man. I still believe in this team. I believe this team gets on the 6th line. There's not a 3 seed that scares me. There's not.
And even if Illinois is a 7, Kevin, I don't think they've proven they can beat 2 seeds and 1 seedish team. So
yeah, you worry about a team like Arizona that's so big, but their guard plays a little skeptical. Maybe we could take advantage of that. Arizona's probably sitting on a 2 seed right now.
Illinois won't be playing UCLA or Texas in the second round. So
they could. I don't think the committee would veer away from that.
Yeah,
I really don't.
But it's doubtful if there's 2 other teams that they could just branch in.
Yeah, but teams you really don't want to see maybe in the second round: Baylor,
Houston,
Kansas, Alabama.
So, all right. So I'm going to jump into my opinion on it. So you're in the matter of that Illinois can go on a run. You think they can still make a Sweet 16?
I do. I firmly believe that. And the reason for that is because I think Illinois is a tough team to prepare for. I think there's some things that Illinois has done in the Big Ten, and when you're in conference, it can be a little bit easier because people still know some of the things that Brad wants to do and wants to run. And some of it's still pretty new for what Brad is running with this team. But I think when you throw a lineup out there like Illinois does with its length and its ability to react and close out and move. I mean, if you guys ever watch Mike LaTulip's stuff on Illini Inquirer, he shows how these guys are able to what they call stunt and then get back. And last year when we would stunt and try and get back, it was Trent Frazier or Plummer or DeMonte. Now we're stunning with Coleman Hawkins or Terrence Shannon or Matt Meyer or RJ Melendez or Luke Goody. And those guys are 6'7" long. There's a big difference in what they can do and how they can close out. And I think Illinois was going to cause some teams some problems. And I will stand by this. Like Jaden Epps made a 3. Jaden Epps is not a sub 30% 3-point shooter. Terrence Shannon for his career has been about 33% or better, and he's shooting under 30% this year, this calendar year. Coleman Hawkins, with the exception of the Wisconsin game, is under 30% this year. There's just so many. RJ Melendez is, since the Penn State game, is like 14%. The first Penn State game. Luke Goody is back, and Luke Goody is showing that Luke Goody is going to be probably 35 to 40% 3-point shooter on open looks.
How close was that one? How close was that dagger from going down, man?
It goes in, we win the game, and now what are people talking about? It's inches, and what's everybody saying about this team? So I do believe that this team can go on a run. I worry about point guard play. I think Jaden Epps is a really fine player, but he's still a freshman, and he's not really a pass for facilitating point guard, and I worry that can cause some trouble for them. But I do think the emergence of Ty Rodgers, Terrence can run the point. Heck, they've even done some things where they run Coleman out at the point, which can really throw teams for a loop. I think Illinois just has the ability to give some teams some trouble, and I do believe in this team. So.
All right, I'm gonna take the baton from you. Hold on a second. Ugh. All right, here I go.
Long way.
Yeah, thanks. There it is. All right, so Illinois and me and Kevin. The only we don't, and it's okay. We may argue once in a blue moon. The only thing I want to say is about the Penn State thing was that I have a bunch of people on Twitter, and I love to engage at times, and I will. And me and Kev talked a little bit about this through text, but I just wanted to see something different for a little bit longer periods of time other than pretty similar man-to-man type defense. They did do a good job of putting different guys on Pickett, and that didn't help. But I feel at some point, in that second half, because other guys really weren't shooting great in the second half. If you notice in that second half, it was mainly Pickett who beat Illinois. But there were problems with straight line drives, guys getting to the basket. I think Illinois had it at 6 at one point, and then Hen had that put back to put it at 8. There was guys had easy driving lanes to the hoop. I would have loved to have seen them switch up, try a 1-3-1 maybe for a little bit because other guys weren't doing it. Just Pickett, and I can't tell you how they would have done the box and one on Pickett, but I would have even loved to see some double teams to make. Let's see if Lundy's going to be this hot in the second half. Let's see if you make Cameron Winter hit threes to beat you because he's really not a good three-point shooter. So I would have just wanted to see something different than just, hey, let's put different bigger guys on Pickett. If you need to double him, don't be embarrassed because he's 6'2". I just wanted to see you exhaust all options instead of how we saw literally one guy beat you, which I know, Kevin, it's a rarity, but it does happen, and it did happen. I just wanted to see something different than that slow, agonizing burn, and that's what we saw against Penn State. It was like Groundhog Day every possession. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm like, Pickett's gonna back somebody down, and he's gonna either make the basket or get fouled. And he made some free throws. And he hadn't been getting fouled a lot lately. Or he's going to hit a step back three, or Coleman's going to do everything he can. He's going to hit a 19-footer in his face. I just want to see something else. It was just, I was sick of that same channel. I was like, do something else. Make him give the ball up.
So what happens when a guy starts making threes, you have to, when you're, all right, and Penn State was getting away with, I won't call it moving screens, but rolling screens. Guys were, if you go watch the game, guys were rolling into screens. Shit. You still got me?
It's all good. I can still hear you, Kev. Yeah.
All right. And Tulip said this best too. We have guys who are a little bit easier to screen. But who's the hardest guy on the team to screen this year? It's Sincere Harris. Last year it was Trent Frazier. Those guys are both skinny. What we have is we have a lot of 6'7" guys. They make them a little bit easier to screen. And like I said, I'm not saying they're moving screens. I watched it look a little bit like rolling screens, like guys would roll in. And what happens is when a guy like Pickett starts hitting, you cannot go under your screens anymore, so you have to go over. And if you don't get over a screen, you have to call out a switch. And so we got caught in some switches. I mean, that's why you saw Dane being put on him a couple times. And it just hurt us. It was one of those things like the guys just caught fire. And then we had so many, like there were a lot of miscommunication, especially from the freshmen. Epps and Rogers got caught in a couple of miscommunications. Harris got one. And then we had guys who Dane got frustrated on a play and basically set a screen on Rogers that allowed Cam Winter to, or Curry, or whatever his name, Kanye Curry, I think, to get a free run at the leg. There's just a lot of little breakdowns there. The Tulip's film room was fantastic on that game, but it was this dude is Pickett hits a fadeaway. Coleman hand in his face from the corner with the shot clock running down. Terrence Shannon wide open, nobody on him, like had an opportunity to check, look around, fire. Ball goes 3/4 of the way down. It's 72-63 there. That ball goes down at 72-66, could be the change of the game. We did defend him differently this game because when we played him the first time, we switched everything. And one of the things they got us is they would when we were switching everything back then, is they were faking the screen and then slipping the screen. Everybody remembers the slip screens that we ran in 05 with D and James August that got Augie so many of those dunks where he would come up to the screen and then fake it and roll the basket. And they killed us on that in the first game. So we adjusted the defense for this one. They just caught fire. But I do agree with you. There were some things there where I don't know that this team can go run a zone. I mean, I really don't know if they practice it. They've already changed defenses in the season. It's difficult for us to sit here and say, do they have – they've got a zone package in it, but what is that package and how do you run it against Penn State?
So are you saying you agree that they didn't exhaust all the possible options to basically, switch it up for a little bit, what I mean? Instead of just make other people beat you in the second half?
I think that Jim Boeheim would lick his chops if he had this team to run his 2-3 zone. I don't know that we have the capabilities of running it. I don't know that they've been taught it. I don't know that they can.
And
but we did see a different defense against TJD this time around.
Yes, we did. Good. And so my thoughts on Indiana were, we're obviously ridiculous tech, but besides the ridiculous technical, I mean, I think Illinois was the better team, and you're going to take your lumps when you play a bunch of good freshmen, and Illinois did that aspect of, Ty Rogers made a bunch of really good plays, but he also hurt the team really bad in the final moments. You can't let Miller Kopp just take the ball from you like it's lunch money, and he did.
You can't dribble in the middle of the paint.
It's like, I love Ty, but man, you got to go strong with the ball. You can't let the guy just take it from you. It wasn't like he just slapped it away and it tippy-toed and bounced to a teammate he just said, give me your lunch money. I'm taking this. And it was like, come on, man. Like, Ty's a tough, strong kid. That was just soft play. So, and then what happens on the next play defensively? You can't foul Hood Schifino when you've made him take a tough, contested shot, man. You just get your hand up straight, and if the man can make it around your arm, all power to you. But he didn't need to re-extend it and hit him. And it didn't need all that, and so that cost you two. And then put you in a predicament where then you got to go down.
Well, and it's score. I mean, you can almost poll Illini fans. Who would we rather have at the line shooting 2 free throws late?
Yeah,
Epps did it against Texas.
And that's the thing is, like, I felt he was confident, but man, he just pulled the string a little bit on the first one. So, and Epps made some big time plays too to keep Illinois' mo going. But then again, too, made some critical mistakes with where Underwood got in his face. That exact play, I watched it a few times, is he had, I think it was Hawkins or Meyer open in the corner, and he drove into 2-3 guys, and then they slapped it off his leg, and the ball went out of bounds. And Brad was telling him, you had a guy open in the corner. You did not need to force it. I was reading his lips. You didn't need to do that. Let's wake up. Come on. That's a big play. And Epps is, I just wish guys sometimes would just take accountability and be like, I screwed up. I know. But he was like pointing like, oh, this and that. And I think that's what's getting fed. I would probably be fed up too if a player was saying that to me, when it's like, you clearly made a bad decision, but you know what? We move on. But when you're not accepting what you did, you're going to piss me off. So, so that's, and I get he's young still, but those are moments you need to teach young players. Listen, it's not about what anyone else is doing. I'm talking to you. You had an open guy in the corner. You didn't take it. You took it to the hole. And then a big one too. He drove into 2-3 guys again, and then Race Thompson come over and cover Dane. The ball bounces out of bounds. TJD slaps it off of Epps, who's out of bounds.
Galloway.
That's a big play. Yeah. That was a big
or the one where Race Thompson threw it off Epps. Epps has got to get out of the or TJD, I forgot who it was.
Yeah, it was Trace. But still, it's like those were 2 big drive turnovers towards the end of the game that, we don't even get a shot. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not that you drove to the hoop because it was open for a little bit, but we didn't even get shots on those. And this is a game where it was there for us. So those bothered me. But again, that was a heck of a battle between 2 freshman guards with Epps and Hood Schifino.
You know what's weird about the Indiana game is I heard some people were critical of Hawkins about him not impacting the game from an offensive perspective more. He was 3 of 3 And I keep going back in my mind, Ryan, I don't remember a single shot he passed up other than the time that he traveled. I wish he would have caught that ball. He was about 8 feet from the bucket, 6 to 8 feet from the bucket, just rose up, hit that little right hand half hook that he's got.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. I mean, we saw it the past couple of games. It's been effective. And he tried to do something.
There may have been, Kevin, 1-3 in the second half he had a chance to take, but it was like not wide open. It was more of like you need to catch and shoot immediately because the defender was trying to rotate.
And he hadn't even attempted a 3 in the game. Like, I don't know that I want him taking that at that moment, right? You know, and he's just he's an odd player. I'm one of the biggest Coleman supporters there is. I thought he played great defense.
It's an odd and a good way, though. I want to be clear.
Right. Yeah.
Like you see, and everybody, hell, I talked to plenty of guys who cover the team every day, and they think, he's gone for sure because he's going to get drafted. So, because the way the scouts just kind of love him, his height and his intangibles and things.
I'd love for him to come back, man.
I would too. I'm going to be honest.
Rod, if you're listening, we'd love for him to be back.
Yeah. But I think Io has shown that it really doesn't matter where you get drafted. You can make your own way and you play, you get a chance, you show them what you can do and you're going to play. And it may be G League right away, but you're going to get a shot. So, I'm just speaking of, I see why though, that most people think he'll be drafted and they're kind of some others. I'm not going to put their names out in the media, but they think he's going to.
Well, Sam Vecini's very high on him and he's got him top 40.
But I agree with you in the oddness of him because a lot of times he defers to other people. And it's like, I almost wonder if he was super, super aggressive, like around the rim, because he's not. Like what would his numbers look like,
Yeah. I was so impressed with the dunk, not because of the dunk, but because he tried to dunk it, right? There's so many times where I see him where he'll go up and he'll pump fake or whatever and maybe bring the ball down and get stripped or get fouled and then he's going to line and he's not the best free throw shooter. And it's just like, dude, just go up and just try and cram that damn thing. Like just go. And I think we did it a couple times against TJD. I think Ty did it one time where I was just like, man, just go. If you just go try and cram that thing, like even if you get blocked there, like it's the 10% chance you're going to get blocked and not get a foul called. But you know what? Hey, listen, the freshman and Sincere was not. Sincere took a little bit of an ill-advised shot, and
he had a couple, but I got to be honest too. His energy did help for a few minutes. And the one that I wish we could have back was, I think we were up 8 and he got that rebound and he took it coast to coast. Remember? He had a 2-on-1 with Lieb. And instead of hitting Lieb with it, possibly, he tried to do an up and under, wild layup and he missed it. And then they went down and got like a fast break off it. And it kind of cut the lead to 6. And I think then he came down the next time and took a pull-up 15-footer.
Yeah.
Missed it, and then they got it and went down.
It was in and out. But
Yeah, because it's like, man, like he did score the previous possession on that nice back cut at the hoop. And it looked like he hurt his leg on it. He was like, I think he's got some ailing things that have been bothering him too, but his leg, he's never really been right since I'm trying to remember what game that was earlier in the year where he dove for a ball, remember, and guy landed on him. Was it Penn State? Yeah, it was something like that. He's never been like 100% since then. But
there was also I'm not going to criticize the fishing. Like I said, I thought it was pretty good. But the bucket he did make,
he got fouled.
That's where he got hurt. He got knocked to the ground and jammed his knee on the ground. It's like that's a foul, man.
But
if Matt Myers shoots 3 free throws because he can't land after shooting it, that's a foul. It's
I was going to post a tweet, even though it doesn't matter in the difference of the games, is Matt Myers been fouled like 10 times this year shooting threes, and only one time has he made all 3.
Oh yeah, every time he gets to the line,
2 out of 3.
He's making 2 out of 3.
I'm like, and it's always the first one. I'm like, he's going to miss the first one.
We went 1-3 against Penn State.
Ooh. Yeah, so 8 of the 10 times. No, it's still 9 of the 10. The only time he made all 3 was against UCLA. Yeah, against UCLA, he made all 3. So with that said, it's a good loss if there is one. that, I think that pushes Illinois up to a team that I think can get to a 5 seed with that big win over Indiana. But it's okay that it didn't happen. So this week is huge. Not just, tomorrow you want to get that bad taste out of your mouth against Minnesota. You want to get your record back up to 9-7. The golden number in the Big Ten conference play has been there is no team who's won 10 conference games that has not made the tournament. So you want to get to 10 no matter what. So, that's going to happen. Just don't know which game yet. I think it's going to be against Northwestern. I have a lot of people who follow me on Twitter that's like, oh, they've won 5 in a row, and Illinois is 1-3 in their last 4. Man, I don't know why you feel so confident. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bring the ranked cats to Champaign in that hostile environment. Let them feel like, they're flying on cloud 9. Illinois is going to be the desperate, hungry team. I don't believe Northwestern's going to come in. I feel like now they know they've got it. Their tournament destiny is sealed. They're going to be ranked. They're coming now. They're the hunted coming into Champaign Thursday. And that's not going to be an easy thing, title chasing. There's a lot going on there for Northwestern psyche-wise. And also, Illinois could have easily won that game in Evanston earlier this year as well. And that's not even the Illinois team that was playing well, okay?
We made more twos. We made more threes.
Yeah.
We rebounded them. We lost the turnover battle a little bit, but there was one major differentiator in that game.
Fouls.
30 free throws.
Yeah.
30. Not they shot 30. They shot 30 more.
44-14, I believe. Yeah.
They shot. It was 4, I think it was 40-12.
I'll have to look. Okay. All right.
It was something ridiculous. Here's the thing about them. They got 2 guys that score. Audige and Bowie, and maybe a little bit from Barry. You shut the water off for one of them, and you're going to be okay. That's it. And they're going to come to Champaign and play us at 8 o'clock at night, and we're going to be pissed. And Shannon's going to be back, and we're going to have a little bit of energy after beating Minnesota. We'll beat Minnesota tomorrow night. I'll just say it right here. We're going to beat Minnesota tomorrow night. I think you're going to see some guys play. I think Lieb's going to get some minutes. I think Goody's going to play, 20 minutes again. By the way, if I told you before that Brandon Lieb was forced into action in the first half against Indiana, and that we didn't play with Terrence Shannon before the game, and that Coleman Hawkins had 6 points. If I told you this before the game, and RJ had 2 points, because we were kind of hoping he would step, RJ would start and have 2 points. I asked you what the score would be. You'd be like, we'd lose by 18. We lose by 18. We didn't. We were right there. I have every faith and confidence that we're going to beat Northwestern this week. It is not a good matchup for Northwestern. We're a better team. I don't care what they've done. They've done almost all their work at home. They have one quality road win recently. They beat Wisconsin and Ohio State on the road, which, they had to hold Wisconsin to 50. They scored 54 points against Wisconsin to win that game. I don't see them coming to our house and beating us. I really don't.
Not with what's on the line for sure.
Free throws in that game, 40-10. They outscored us by 26 points at the free throw line and won by 13.
Yeah.
32-40, we were 6 of 10.
It was a very close game, I believe, with like 5 minutes left. So
they shot 32% from the field that game. 32%.
Yeah. All those things. And I'm just going to say it this way. If this game was back in Evanston, I wouldn't feel confident. But it's not.
No.
It's in Champaign.
Heck no. Their crowds come around. Kudos to them.
Yeah.
That's a really tough place to play right now. Really tough place to play. Really tough.
Yep. And you know what? Champaign, when it's rocking, it's a really tough place to play. And Illinois is going to have it rocking for another ranked victory. They beat Rutgers at home 8 days ago and ready to get back in the win column this week. So for me, my ceiling for Illinois, we've spent a half hour on this. I'm in total agreement with you. I think they can still get a 6 seed. I think if Illinois just holds serve, let's say they win Monday, let's say they beat Northwestern, Ohio State, Michigan, lose to Purdue, and let's say they only win the first round game and then lose to a team that could help bump them up more in the seed. I think they're going to get a 7. but if they can make some noise, I think, and win at least a couple in the Big Ten tournament, I think a 6 or 7 at worst. So I think a 6 is highly. Actually, if we win the next 4, I got to be honest. I think if we win the next 4 and get in the top 4 of the Big Ten and 12-8 in the Big Ten, let's say that, I think it is a 6 seed. So
yeah, I do too. I do too.
And I think.
And something happened today that helps us is that, like, if you look at the schedules, Maryland and Rutgers had the easiest schedules coming in. Northwestern has one of the hardest schedules. North comes to our place, they have to go to Rutgers. I forgot where else. They've got another tough road game coming up.
Illinois needed Maryland to lose today.
Yeah, Maryland losing helped. So
it looks like it's a highly possible scenario. Iowa finishes 11-9, so they're out, and they beat us in that tiebreaker. And then you got Rutgers, who looks likely will probably finish 12-8 because they've got 3 easier games and 1 tougher one left on their schedule. And then Maryland now has a 7th loss. They look like they've got to play. I think they have to go at Penn State, but I know they have 1 more tougher game.
I think Iowa finishes 12-8.
Do you think Iowa? I don't know, man. They have to go at Iowa. Still has to play at
Wisconsin, at Indiana, but they get Michigan State at home and they get Nebraska at home.
I think they're going to lose both those road games. They're not a good road team. So
you think they're going to lose at Wisconsin?
I do think they'll lose at Wisconsin. That's a tough rivalry. There's Luka Garza. Wisconsin should have beat Rutgers a couple of days, yesterday, and they blew it. They're up by 3 with a minute left. It's, they just blew it. Wisconsin, heck, went on the road and beat Penn State. I mean, we couldn't do that. So, Wisconsin's not a terrible team. They still beat Marquette. It's like they're not terrible.
Well, obviously, we'd all be rooting for. Well, I can't.
We're not rooting. No, we want like a 3-way tie or 3 or 4-way tie because Michigan State. Let's say they finish 12-8. We're going to have the tiebreaker over them.
Yeah.
We're going to have the tiebreaker over Rutgers.
Yeah.
And so if Maryland's 12-8, we're at 12-8, then you go head to head, and Illinois I think would be 2-1. And then you look at the other team. You'd have to look at the tiebreakers of, Rutgers in Maryland and Michigan State in Maryland, and I believe Maryland will have 2 losses in there. So
an interesting game to put on to look at the schedule is Rutgers at Penn State is kind of interesting.
Penn State has a chance to sneak into this tournament if they can win. They got 3 more quad 1 games coming. So
yeah, they've got Ohio on the road against Ohio State. Might be a quad 1 game.
I hope it's a quad 1 for us on Sunday.
Oh geez, Rutgers at Penn State, and then they play. And then Penn State plays at Northwestern, and then they get Maryland at home.
Yeah. So if you beat Maryland at home, and they beat Rutgers at home, they got Rutgers at home too, right?
Yeah.
They beat those.
Yes, Rutgers and Maryland at home.
Yeah, you win those 2 games, and plus your easier one with Ohio State. 3 or 4, they're going to be 19-12, and I believe they'll be 10-10 in league.
Yeah.
Penn State has a chance to make the tournament, so let's not. I'm just saying. I think the Big Ten has a chance to get 9 in still.
Well, everybody's juicing Northwestern right now. They're 11-5. I do believe they're going to go 1-3 in their last 4.
Oh yeah, they'll finish. Okay, yeah, that they might finish 12-8 too. I know they're gonna lose at least 2 more games. So
they go to Illinois, to Maryland. By the way, that's a bad matchup for them. That's a horrible matchup with Maryland's size and speed and athleticism on the road. College Park has all of a sudden become rowdy again. And then they go to the RAC. So they go to Illinois, to Maryland, to the RAC, and get
that's
Penn State.
8. And then they have 1 game at home right against Penn State.
Yes.
Yeah, they better win that game or they're going to be 11-9.
Right.
So
we can stop juicing them a little bit.
Let them be juiced. I want them coming in super confident Thursday. Let them be confident Thursday. It's all right. I mean,
So I really do think that the top 2 spots will probably end up being Purdue and Indiana. Indiana though.
Indiana has to go at Michigan State,
at Purdue, and they get Iowa at home, and then they get Iowa and Michigan at home. I'm sorry, Michigan did not beat Indiana at Indiana. I was wrong about that.
Indiana's going to have 8 losses too. We could have like a There could be like a 6-7 way tie at 8 losses in the Big Ten. I mean, and it's like then it's in tiebreakers, and it's tough because Illinois got swept by Indiana, and Penn State doesn't matter. They're not going to be in the tiebreaker, but the Indiana one might hurt them just with Indiana. But then it's other teams who's beat Indiana. But anyway, we're still a long ways away. You know what I hope? If we're 12-7 heading to West Lafayette, I'll take that, Kev. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm just telling you. You look at the things that have given them problems. We can do a lot of those things. We can do some of the things with the athleticism and the guards and the size to give them some problems. But winning at Mackey is a challenge. By the way, they're not a very good 3-point shooting team, by the way. Everybody thinks they're some great 3-point shooting team. I was listening to the Eye on College Basketball podcast. They're not. They're better than us, but they're not some superstar 3-point shooting team that everybody seems to think that they are. It really is Edey and Fletcher Lawyer's been pretty bad lately from 3.
That's what's been hurting them so bad.
I mean, they shoot 33% from 3. I mean, we shoot 31. So I mean, they're not. Now, if you put Big Ten play in there only, where if we go down a little bit, but
and you know what? And if let's say there's a 5 or 6 way tiebreaker at 12-8, and Illinois' 5th or 6th seed. You know what? Whatever. We play Thursday. I'll be ready to watch them play. I'll be excited. It's in the United Center. Illinois fans will be ready. It's whatever. So I
want Penn State. People
give us Penn State again in Chicago.
I want Penn State. I want Indiana. I want them both.
If you get Penn State and they go off for a third time, Kev, I'm going to say that's just how I don't know what I'd say. I'd say they might
want to say you tip your cap.
I'm going to say you might want to play the scratch off lottery or something. Because let me just tell you, I watched Penn State play at Minnesota, and while they did pull away a little bit at the end, they weren't hitting everything. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh, I know, dude.
It makes me so
sick. And nothing else, dude. I mean,
I'm like, where's Funk at? Where's Lundy's fadeaway threes? Come on, put it in there. Let's go. I'm like, only against Illinois does that crap go in. I'm like, man.
And like I said, if we play them again and we get beat again, it's one of those things you tip your cap, just like I did in high school when I faced Jason Anderson, who pitched for the Mets, who pitched for the Yankees, Big Ten Player of the Year when he struck me out in Danville. Just tip my cap. You're better than me.
Yeah, sometimes you got to. Now, we spent a quality time on it. We're believers in the Illini getting to a second weekend. I personally, even if it was Kansas, do I think would I bet money to win? Probably not, because it's not even close to where I'd feel comfortable. But would I sit back and say, I don't feel confident we can win? No, I would still say I think Illinois can beat Kansas because they have enough talent to do it. It could go off for 25. Sure. Could Shannon hit 5 threes? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I've seen from this team that makes me not really as worried in the past. Like last year, I had a terrible feeling when we played Houston. I got to be honest. I might have even prayed before the game. And I was like, dear Lord, this is a terrible matchup.
I talked to somebody associated with the team, like who knows people associated with the team last year, that said literally at the end of the season they were keeping it together with duct tape and were shocked that they won the Big Ten title. Absolutely shocked. And I think it showed up in the tournament. I think Jacob Grandison being hurt that team in ways that people just do not understand. And that it just happens. And the tournament is all about matchups. You look at us last year, we get a 4 seed. If we get any other 5 seed put in our bracket, 2 other 5 seeds lost to 12s in the first game, and granted, we came close to losing it. And the other one was St. Mary's. We had beat St. Mary's. They would have had zero answer for Kofi. They would not have the athleticism to match up against us. And so there's just so much of the tournament is luck. Loyola was the most underseeded 8. We were hurt. And then I'll get into this too. I'm looking at it right now. We go play them. Would you expect Trent Frazier to go 0 for 5 from 3? I mean, 0 for 5. I mean, Io had 7 turnovers, I think 6 turnovers. I mean, he was 3 of 8, 4 of 10 from the field. I mean, it was just such an odd game. There was just the tournament is about luck. It's about matchups. It's about Caleb Love and Brady Manick, who both were like 30% 3-point shooters all season. All of a sudden, were 45% 3-point shooters in the tournament, and they caught fire. Well, guys,
all you got to do is look at St. Peter's last year, Kev.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, St. Peter's. Yeah, let's think about that. That St. Peter's team had no business beating Kentucky and Oscar Tshiebwe. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the national.
Purdue. They beat
Jaden
Ivey.
That's what I'm saying. They beat Jaden Ivey and this monster Zach Edey. How did they figure it out? You know, it's like these guys had nobody over 6'8" on that team. And they beat them. Why? Because Purdue saw and heard about St. Peter's, and they let it get to them, and they weren't making shots. And St. Peter's was making shots. But so what I'm saying, Kev, is every year can't just be bad luck for Illinois. One of these years, Illinois is going to break through, and it's not just going to be bad matchups. It's like you play to win the game, you go make your luck. I think this team can do that. That's my bottom line.
I agree with you, and I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I feel confident on it. Like, I would, if before the tournament even bracket comes out, if they said the Illinois make the Sweet 16 line, we're going to say it's whatever. I'd probably put 100 down. So whatever it was, I put 100 on it. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited to see the finish of this Big Ten season, get that W, that taste back in their mouths tonight. But one last thing, because I want to talk about the Illini women for at least 5 minutes. I mean, come on. Teresa Grants was honored before the game. Oh, I loved it. Smacked Penn State around. But let's talk briefly, really quick, about, do you think, can RJ Melendez break out of this, or is this something that you're going to see? Because I personally think we're going to see less and less of him, only because you're really playing 4-on-5 in some aspects, because they're not even trying to guard him sometimes.
I haven't seen that. The 1-3 he got was a miscommunication, because Meyer got a 3 from the same spot, the same exact spot, completely unguarded, either minutes before or minutes after, and airballed it. Minutes before and airballed it, just like RJ did. Same exact miss. RJ provides something. You got Luke Goody's name up there. That Luke.
I do, because I'm wanting to make this about, because Goody played really good against Indiana. So where's his minutes?
Until he got abused by Race Thompson in the paint.
But yeah, well, he should never have to guard.
Well, RJ has the length to go up and block a shot there, or in the quickness or the length to maybe get a steal. Here's the thing, dude. He overthought the 3. Yes, he missed the rebound putbacks. A lot of guys have missed those. It just so happened to come in a very short period of time. And I know I just believe in the kid's talent, dude. I really do. And all he's got to do is have 2 go in, and everything's going to change for him. And he's got a great opportunity, because I think we're all of the belief that Terrence is not going to play tomorrow night. I'm highly doubtful. First of all, he doesn't need to. We can still win the ball game. Terrence doesn't play tomorrow night. I think RJ will probably start again, and he's going to get opportunities. And all he's got to do is get a couple to go in, and I think his confidence comes around. Luke was great. I thought Luke played phenomenal. I'm not dogging him about how he got caught against Race in the post. That's a 5th-year senior or whatever he is. And I'm a Race Thompson fan. He was a guy I always would have wished would have been an Illinois guy, because we were missing that before the past couple of years. But I do think that RJ's on limited time, like you're saying, to do something. And I do believe. I mean,
I just want you to know, Kev, I want that the same way you want it bad. But I personally don't feel that if it's this way coming into the Big Ten tournament, I don't think you can play him as much.
Well, that's why I think something will change. I think he hit that 3 against Penn State. It was a beautiful looking stroke. His shot against Indiana was a good looking stroke. Brad said overtime. I mean, it was just a little long, and he's been short on everything. So I just think something's going to click for the kid, because we all know, like,
we all want to.
Go look at the 2022 box scores, and I'm not talking 2021, 2022 season. I'm talking 2022, 2023 season. Go look up to Penn State. He was a pretty decent 3-point shooter for us. I mean, he made some big buckets against the UCLA, made some big buckets against Texas. He can be an asset. But I saw something against him that he did against Indiana, and he didn't make them, but he drove to the bucket. And I really like seeing that.
I think if he can drive more and make people pay with that length and athleticism at the rim, you don't necessarily have to give more of his minutes to Luke Goody. But I can tell you, the more Goody gets healthy and more confident, I think he should be playing more. And no, he didn't. He's not going to be able to battle and beat up on a guy like Race Thompson in the post. But he also brings Thompson out. He has his own skill set, and he's actually a pretty good defender. Other than he's outmatched by 35 pounds by the guy he's guarding.
He's a really good rebounder, and he's a tough kid, and he doesn't make the dumb pass. Right? He's Ant Wright broke it down when him coming back about one of the things that he does is that he provides. He's a better version of Jacob Grandison, in my opinion.
Yeah,
maybe not as effective from the corner, but whatever. He's a better version of Jacob Grandison, and that's what this team has missed this year. He's got some toughness, he's got some rebound, he's going to make some quality plays. He's a steadying force. I do agree with that. I think the best thing that could happen for us is for RJ to get another look against a team like Minnesota and maybe get an opportunity to knock down something and do something well for this team. Because if RJ Melendez is an offensive factor for this team, I don't believe that'll cut necessarily into all of Luke Goody's minutes, but it will make us a much more difficult team to guard in the future, and it'll open things up for everybody. It'll make things easier on that lack of point guard.
Yep.
And here's the biggest thing. That I'm coming at, and this goes to all Illinois fans out there.
I got a group though, Kev, that are like, I just can't wait to hear Kev tonight to defend RJ and say he's got that heater coming.
We want that kid back.
We do.
We want that. Dude, we need that kid back because you saw glimpses of it last year at Rutgers. He looked amazing, dude. He did things against Houston in the tournament. He's just having a little bit of a slump, guys. He's like you don't want RJ to transfer and us to be sitting here in the Pods situation. And by the way, Pods left because it was RJ and Goody or Pods, and we chose the two guys. And so if RJ leaves, now we gave up both those guys for Luke Goody, and I love Luke Goody, and he's going to be in Illini for 4 years, in my opinion. But we don't have replacements to come. Now, granted, we could go find something in the portal, but you're seeing the challenges that the portal brings. What you would rather see is a hyper-confident RJ Melendez who can shoot the three from 40%. Everybody talks about it in practice. Go watch him in warm-ups. He's one of the best shooters on the team. Like, stop dogging the kid. He's just going through a hard time, dude. And you guys if you guys got put in the spotlight when you were 19 years old, you'd probably fuck up a little bit too. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, we want this kid back. We want him to succeed. And dogging him on Twitter ain't the way to get that done.
Yep. I mean, I totally agree. We should all want him back. And I know that Illinois is a better team if RJ is playing to his best capabilities, what he's capable of.
He's not playing to his capabilities. That's the thing. Six, seven guys with his athleticism and his stroke don't grow on trees. You don't just go pluck one and go find one.
Yeah. It's interesting too because Curbelo kind of went through his own phase last year, and it was a concussion deal. He never really got it back, but I don't believe that
it's different.
This is different, but he's in his own head when he's playing. But I think maybe if we all gave like a hashtag support RJ or something to show the love to him, maybe that could help bring him out of it. But I made a tweet, and I believe this, and I am proud of Brad because Brad gets dogged so much too. But he never makes adjustments. He just sticks up for his guys. Like, I had people complaining because he's like, why does he need to bring up that Ty Rogers had strep throat? He's always got excuses. It's like, but I can tell you this: Brad has given RJ every opportunity to come out of this. So I said, no matter what happens at the end of this year, because everything's funny, everything's weird. We want him to come out, but maybe he doesn't. And maybe he does leave. Maybe he wants to go pro, whatever. He can't look back, and nobody can say, no parent, no uncle, no best friend, no trainer can say that Illinois didn't give RJ Melendez every opportunity to be the guy, to be free, to shoot the ball, to have a green light. Brad literally was like, yes, shoot it, RJ. We know you've made one of your last 25. Go for it. Keep shooting. He's told him to do that. So I'm proud of Brad for that, because there's a lot of coaches, I think, that in the middle of a Big Ten and NCAA tournament race, to make the tournament, would be like, don't shooting that. No, you're definitely taking the last shot of the game. So he has given RJ that. So I have to commend Brad for that. So I am happy that is what's happening from that perspective, to where it's not like anyone in the Melendez camp can point fingers at, oh, our son was this or that, or RJ won't think that coach didn't believe in him, because he does.
Well, and understand this too, like, and all the people and the Twitter arguments and stuff like that, dude. I'm always going to have orange and blue glasses when it comes to protecting these young men in a public forum. I am not going to bash any kid that chooses to don the orange and blue, a team that I've been a fan of since before I can even remember. I'm not going to dog them. Like, you choose to come to Illinois, I'm not going to sit here. You're a part of this team. Like, if he wasn't playing hard, I'd have a problem with it. Like, the kid plays hard. Like, he hustles. And, like, I know some people were mad he didn't foul Trace Jackson Davis. I think he tried to get a clean block. The worst thing could have happened there is if he fouled him and Trace made the bucket. The kid plays hard, and he plays really good defense, and he's trying out there. And so that's the thing. I'm never going to be the guy that comes out here. Like, I'll say a guy I think he can play better, and RJ can play better. RJ needs to make those bunnies. RJ needs to, like, if he's not going to make buckets, he's got to be super, super clean. He can't turn the ball over at all. And I don't think he can.
And I can tell you, I think he's defensively blocking some shots and even rebounding. He should still play, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes a game, because he's long, he's athletic, and he's been a lot better on defense lately. A lot better the last month.
Why he didn't play much last year, because defense. It's like, everybody, why is he playing more? Why Luke Goody get more minutes? Because Luke Goody played better defense.
So to end this, before our final thought, what do you think, Kev?
I can't answer it because I have no flipping clue about who else are how good was LSU last year before this year? Because they were
LSU and South Carolina were all ranked teams. You know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't like them being undefeated or one-loss team is something that would be out of a stratosphere of anyone. So
I can't comment on Sean.
What I can tell you,
you can win Big Ten Coach of the Year. I mean, that's just
what we can tell you is that combined in the last 7 Illinois seasons, they won 7 Big Ten games, and now they've won 10 in one season. So
they should win 12. And they should win 12. They should win.
I think they should win 12. And the thing is like, I don't even think she needs to, like, she was on there like, I think we're an NCAA tournament team. Like, she needs to appeal to if anyone watches Illinois play and in the selection committee who looks at Illinois and goes, that team that beat Iowa, the team that almost beat Indiana and Bloomington, the team that beat up on Nebraska last
year. Maryland everything they want without their best player.
By 11 without their best player in Ann Arbor, who's going to win 12 games in the toughest conference in America. Going to win 22 or 23. I don't know if they're quality enough. Then they need a new panel, because I would boycott women's college basketball if Illinois doesn't make the tournament this year.
Well, I boycotted women's college basketball for like most of my life because Illinois hasn't been good. Like, it's really the only thing I pay attention to. When Illinois is good at a sport, I pay attention to it. So women's volleyball, men's golf, that's why I pay attention to that.
Did you watch today, Kev?
I didn't have the chance to watch it. It wasn't on TV.
Okay, man, let me tell you. I got Big Ten Plus just to watch the women this year.
Yeah.
So Genesis Bryant, I believe, had 6 or 7 threes today.
Yeah, she was banging off the bench.
Yeah, and like just loved it. And Bostic balling again. I think she had another double-double.
Oh yeah, 22 and 18 today.
And the thing is, Bostic is always 3 or 4 inches smaller than the girl guarding her, and she's just so crafty. And I've made some tweets on there, and the staff has jumped in, and we've talked a little bit. That any girl who wants to learn how to play basketball could learn a whole lot from watching Kendall Bostic, because she is great with positioning, angles, footwork, using her body to her advantage. Even when there's girls that are 6'7", 6'6", she's like close to 6'2", and she's like getting 18 boards a game because it's all about positioning, and she's able to get her shot off around them. It's just fun to watch. So,
and she is like, when she gets a rebound and she's out to like 8 or 10 feet and she takes that little 8 to 10 foot jumper, it's almost always money. I was like, just count that. They've got 2 winnable games left. They got Nebraska at home. Then they go to Rutgers. Rutgers is 5-10 in league play. So Illinois should finish the season 12-6. The problem is, like, I looked at women's bracketology today. They've got us on an 8-9 line. The computers don't love them. Like, the computers like the men a lot more than they like the women. The women's record's better. We're going to finish probably, 22-7, 21-8, something like that. And then you got the Big Ten tournament. They're not going to be in the top 4 of the Big Ten tournament because you've got IU, Iowa, Maryland.
I think they'll finish. They have a chance.
15.
They have a chance to beat 5, though. If you look at Maryland, Maryland's got Ohio State. Sorry, has a tough last 2 games. They have Ohio
Michigan and Maryland.
Yep. And if Illinois wins their final 2, Illinois will be the 5 seed. And
if Ohio State loses both those,
yeah, and Ohio State will be the 6 seed. So Illinois would, and then the 4 seed, I believe, will be Michigan. But I think if Illinois wins their final 2, wins 1 or 2 more in the Big Ten, and I think they can get a 7 seed. And it's okay. The computers don't have to love them. But let me tell you what, whoever they play is not going to like playing Illinois.
Unless it's South Carolina.
Yes. Hey, South Carolina almost lost to Ole Miss today.
I'm just –
yeah, come on, Kev. What was your thoughts on the South Carolina Ole Miss game?
I have no idea. No freaking clue.
Okay,
I just know this. I'm a betting man. There's still plus odds on South Carolina to win the national championship.
I don't think if Illinois gets screwed and gets the best team in America in the second round, you know what? You just say this. It's nice to be in that position, right?
Hey, you know what's nice as a Bears fan, like the NFL season ended in November. Typically, as an Illinois football fan, it ends sometime in October. It didn't happen this year. As a Cubs fan, my season ended in July last year. So it just gives me some more sports to watch that I'm excited about. And if Illinois is competing in something, I'm watching. Probably not going to watch gymnastics, but
no. I'll watch like ranked wrestling sometimes if it's a final match or 2. I don't love it. I don't love wrestling. I mean, sometimes when they have it on, it actually enrages me because I'm like, I don't care about this tie-breaking last 30 seconds. Man, the game's on. So anywho, love what's going on in Champaign. Teresa Grintz was honored before the game. The first 20-win season in the last 15 years. This is probably the best team at Illinois since Teresa Grintz's 1997 Sweet 16 team. So it was really cool to see her getting to watch them. And really, they out today in front of her. So if this was her first glimpse to see them really up close, which I believe it is, she had to have been impressed.
4 wins to tie the school record in wins in a season. So you got 2 that you should win. I mean, they're going to be favored in both these games.
And there's one for sure that they should win in the Big Ten tournament. It's going to be a 6-11, 5-12 matchup.
Yeah, so then you got 23. So then you got to find a way to maybe win 1 more in the Big Ten tournament and 1 in the NCAA tournament, or
which is possible.
1 in the NCAA tournament, you tie it. So she definitely should get Coach of the Year nominees or a notification there. She'll get it for the game. It's just one of those things on the national deal. Like, people just don't give those out like they should. I mean, there's going to be a coach that they took their team undefeated, but South Carolina has been in Final Fours late. So, hell, they might even have won it. Wins with that team. So, I mean, that's just.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I think any lady who can take a team's win total and be plus 15 or 16 the next year, that's pretty darn good. So, now to finish this up, get it rounded off to about an even hour. Kev, your final thoughts for Illini fans heading into a crucial week of 3 games starting tomorrow night with Minnesota.
It's hard to ask for patience when there's 5 games left, so I'm not going to ask for patience, but just take a bigger look at what's going on. Three of their last 4 losses have taken nuclear performances by guys, and this team is still a top 25 defensive team in KenPom. Tony Perkins has shot like 6 free throws since he played Illinois. Trace Jackson Davis, shot quality metrics said he was supposed to have 11 fewer points than he did the first time we played him. Jalen Pickett doesn't make 5 threes in a game in any Big Ten season. Just understand that it took some really amazing performances to beat Illinois. You cannot count on that when you're playing teams in an NCAA tournament or a Big Ten tournament for that to happen. I think it's an anomaly, even though it's happened 3 times with me. I know people will be like, "Well, Kevin, that's not an anomaly." There's 3 really different players in the way that they play basketball. They're very different. So I truly believe I'm just bullish on this team and where they can go, and I think that 3-0 this week will be really important. It's weird to say Ohio State might be the toughest game, but it is a road game in Columbus after playing so many games back to back. But I think the guys know what's in front of them and what's important, and I think Ohio State doesn't match up very well with us. I doubt Zed Key plays, so I'm excited. Just keep on trucking. Look at the opportunities that are going to be presented by Terrence not playing tonight and playing a lesser opponent in Minnesota. And everybody just pray that RJ can find his stroke.
Say a pray for RJ for sure. His dad Omar watches this, so I have that. I think Illinois fans, have taken this team for granted because of the last 2 seasons. 100%. Winning Big Ten titles has made us thirsty for more, and that's a good thing. Where Brad Underwood has elevated this program the last 3 previous years is what we would always want it to be. But I think let the season finish, and we'll talk about it when the Big Ten tournament starts. I believe Illinois is going to have 21 wins at least before the season. This season's done, regular season, and at least 20 at worst. So, we go from not making the tournament 5 years in a row and winning 18 games and then counting NIT wins to winning 21 with Io and Kofi and the COVID hit to winning conference tournament titles to winning conference regular season titles, number 1 seeds, top 16 seed, we were a 4th seed last year in the top 16. So this year it's like the bar has to stay that way, but that doesn't mean that this season is a failure or even a disappointment, because at the end of the what really matters is where this team finishes this year. A Sweet 16 to me is not the bar. It's not where it should. I think it can be better, but I think this team is capable of getting farther than any of those other teams.
Well,
so
Ryan,
give them a chance. Go ahead.
One other thing, and I'm interrupting here.
I know you interrupted my final thought. It's fine. Go ahead.
I think fans have to look at this because everybody's going to everybody will judge this season. If we finish 6th in the Big Ten, let's say, or 5th in the Big Ten, and we go to a Sweet 16, everybody will say that this year is better than last year and maybe even better than the previous year, which is absurd to me.
Yeah.
Because everybody puts so much faith in what's going on in March. But I will urge everybody who maybe just watches Illinois basketball. I watch a shit ton of college basketball, probably because I put too much money on it, but that's beside the point. By the way, I've been on fire at college basketball. Hit me up on Twitter. I will give you some picks. Hit a 3-teamer today. Thank you very much. But if you look at college basketball as a whole, and you talk about teams, Virginia is a top 8 team. They just struggle with Notre Dame. They just struggle with Louisville. Those are bad basketball teams. Like there are literally, like, if I were to look at who Illinois absolutely does not match up well with in the NCAA tournament, that truly scares the crap out of me. There's like 5 teams. It's like Arizona, Houston, Kansas, Alabama, Baylor, because they're guards maybe. Like there's great teams in college basketball. I wouldn't want to.
The other point would be: would you say Texas if you didn't know we'd already beat them? Would you say Illinois matched up great with Texas?
I don't give Marcus Carr being the leading scorer on any team never scares me, dude. Because that dude is Caleb Love light. Like,
what about UCLA? Would you say Illinois matches up good with UCLA?
What's that?
Would you say Illinois matches up good with UCLA?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying is this team. That is my point of my final thought. Illinois, no matter if it was a fool's gold at the moment or not, you see what this team can be capable of. Matthew Meyer is good enough to carry a team to a win. Coleman Hawkins can help provide that. And Terrence Shannon can go off for 5 to 8 threes on any night. It could just come out. We've seen it. That's not the case with every team. You can't say, oh, I know that team can beat UCLA. I know that team can beat Texas, because that's not true. So Illinois has shown you what they can do. And really, let's just be honest, they were toying with Rutgers in the second half at home. They were toying with Rutgers. It wasn't like Rutgers is a world beater, but that's a tough team that always battles back, that always fights back and makes teams make it ugly. You know, they didn't deserve to beat Wisconsin, but they did. You know, they always make games ugly and nasty and grit them out. Ask Michigan State how fun it was to play Rutgers. You know what I'm saying? It's not fun. They make it nasty. Illinois was toying with them. They didn't score for 10 minutes? You know, so it's like Illinois has shown.
Maybe we adjusted defenses at halftime. Well, we wouldn't do that because our coach doesn't adjust ever.
Yeah, so if Illinois loses Northwestern and they lose Ohio State, we're going to have a different tone here next Sunday night.
100%.
Will it still be a tournament team? I still think yes, because of the wins over some of the teams.
Worried about playing in Dayton.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Illinois finishes the year 2-3 instead of 4-1 or 3-2, Illinois is going to be a 10 or 11 seed. They're not going to be off the bubble though, because North Carolina doesn't deserve anything. Let's just be real. North Carolina is not a good team right now, and they're 16-10. It's just they're trash. So Illinois won't be a bubble team this year. I mean like a 12 or whatever. But let's just say if Illinois gets to 10-10, it's a lock. They're going to be in the tournament.
We're going 4-1.
Yeah, I think so too.
We're going 4-1.
Have some faith. That's my final thought. So with that said, have a great rest of your final moments of Sunday night. And if you're off tomorrow, enjoy it, because I don't get to enjoy it. I'm working.
Me too.
Yeah. So, but it's crazy because like all my family has got Monday off last week. She's off tomorrow. The kids don't go to school. Here I am, got to get up again to go to work. And I'm like, oh, you guys make me sick. So, but I am happy because Illinois is on tomorrow. So 8 p.m. Big Ten Network. Those are the final thoughts from Keeping It Orange and Blue. I'm Swami. That's Deuce. Swami out.
ILL.
I